And welcome back to another episode of Life in Prison. My name is Zach. Today we're going to be talking about tattoos. There's a couple different ways that you can get tattoos while being incarcerated. First step, jail. Alright? So in jail, you don't really have, in the West Virginia jails, you don't have CD players. So you can't really make tattoo guns. So what you do in jail, because sometimes you have people that know how to run tattoos, then you have people that know how to draw. It's kind of hard trying to find people that know how to draw and run tattoos. So while you're in jail, if you want to get tattooed, the only way to get tattooed is by getting a pluck job. So what a pluck job is you would gather for all the materials to get your soot and your ink. So what you do is you take a cracker box, alright, it's big and square. Then you get hair grease, alright. Take the hair grease, take it out of the plastic container, and then take a milk carton in the morning and you stick all the grease in the milk carton. And then you take some toilet paper and you make a wick. So you would light the wick, take the box, the cracker box, and you stick over top. So all that soot that's getting blown up is getting collected in the top of this box. So now you have a nice little pile of black soot, like it's black. So how you would be able to make it liquid form, you could either use shampoo, conditioner, you mix it in there, whip it up, and now you got an ink. And when I tell you like the ink is black, so my first tattoos ever, literally my first tattoos ever, was actually on my fingers. So I got that, WB for white boy, and then I got dog, DAWG, on my fingers. So I got the finger tattoos back in 2007 whenever I did a few months in Eastern Regional Jail. So and mind you, as I said before, my parents are very, very Christian. So I did the jail time. I'd gotten out, and my mom was a private school teacher down in Columbia, Maryland. So I happened to go down there, and I think I was at her desk, like in her classroom while she was teaching. Zachary, what's that in your fingers? Go wash that off. Mind you, this isn't coming off. And I was like, mind you, she's in her classroom, full of kids, seeing tattoos on my body for the first time ever. She was not happy. Like, she was very upset. She got mad, ended up walking out the classroom. You'd find someone that knows how to tattoo. Alright, get them to draw up whatever, and you gotta realize that this is gonna be a jail tattoo. So most of them aren't too intricate. There are a few out there that are very, very well done. Get a staple. Alright, go ahead and get a staple, and then you get a pencil. So you'd straighten the staple all the way out and stuff it inside the pencil. After you stuff it inside the pencil, you take a piece of string and you wrap it all the way around. All the way around. So then you take your soot and your shampoo or conditioner, whatever you use, and you would dip the pencil inside of the ink. That way with the string, it soaks up the ink. So every time you pluck, it's going to leave a little black dot. So after you've taken your staple and you sharpened it on the floor to make it really, really, really sharp to penetrate your skin, all you hear is pop, 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 pop. And each tattoo, most tattoos, there's hundreds, if not thousands of pops. Just your skin getting popped by this. It's easier getting away with tattoos in jail because they don't really do tattoo searches. What a tattoo search is, more or less, the COs will come in. In jail, they don't really take pictures. Now, once you get to prison, before you even get there, they take a full body picture. You're naked, completely naked. So you get your arms out, front side, and then turn around, back side, torso, back, everything's getting getting pictured to make sure that, okay, well, this is what this individual has, and they break it down. They're looking for any gang references to see if you're part of any organization, whatever. So in jail, they don't really do that, so you can really get away with things unless you come out in the pod and you've got red arms and stuff because you look like you just got tattooed. Plus, in jail, you can go in each other's cells. They don't really care about that stuff. Jail, there's a lot more freedom in jail, but there's less to do. That's why it's really boring. And for anyone out there who knows what I'm talking about, prison time is so much easier than jail time because you have more freedom. Now, it also means that you're going to be doing years and years of your life, but the time is so much easier. So, once you get to prison, during intake, they take all these pictures of you. Now there's a few other ways you can get tattoos. You can either A, get a pluck job. Most people don't pluck anymore in prisons just because they have guns. So to get a tattoo gun in prison, you take a CD player and you bust it open. Get two little motors. Then you rig it up to this little pin where you got a little handle, and you run wires to a little battery pack, and you got a single needle tattoo gun. Now, tattoo gun costs about $20 to get, but the CD players to get the tattoo guns in the first place are $50, $60. So, it outweighs itself. But at the end of the day, the tattoo dudes, they're definitely going to make their money back. For the needle, you can either use paper clip, you can use guitar string, you can use the wire out of a lock, because in West Virginia prison systems, you get 2 locks. And honestly, I'm surprised that they even give them to you, because many people have gotten knocked over the head with these locks, and these locks, man, they ain't no joke. Like, they're heavy and they will bust your shit wide open. The only bad thing with these guns are, as I said before, it's a single needle, so it takes a little bit longer. But in prison systems, after you've been in for a while, if you're a good tattoo artist, your name starts getting thrown around. Chulo, Stephen Myers, Cameron, there's a few well-known people in West Virginia prison systems that have been running for years. Big G, some of these names, people know who they are just because they can really run. Most of the time, the people that are running tattoos, if you're on an open dorm, because in prison up at Huttonsville, you have open dorms, which is like 60, 70 individuals, but you're all laid out beside each other. You're all in bunks, just beside each other all the way down. So you can stand at the aisle and see 60 bunks straight down. Wide open, dorms wide open. The only way you're going to be able to run tattoos on a dorm, on an open dorm, is if you go all the way to the back and get in between the mats and run from there. That's where I actually first started getting my stuff at. Let's see. From here up, all the way across my chest, and to here, I got all this done on an open dorm. Dorm 5 when I first got up there. And it's hard because the COs, it's not like whenever you're up on a gang unit or behavioral dorm where the COs, they come every hour. On an open dorm, the COs are on the dorm in this chicken mesh cage, and all they have to do is this to see straight down the row. So finding a stick man, it's a little bit easier because they can just sit there and just, snap their fingers to alert you if the CO's coming. Sound. Now you can silence them, but the way that they're set up and rigged, there's not much room for silence in these things, so you can always hear it. So you gotta make sure that there's like a fan running or there's a good amount of people around as background noise to silence the noise of this tattoo gun, because the COs know exactly what they sound like, and that's what they're looking for. After I got up to Huttonsville, I was up on Dorm 5 for like 3 months, 3.5 months I'd say. And after I first got up there, it was about 2-3 weeks till I figured out who was running tattoos. And mind you, before I went up to prison, I didn't have none of this stuff on my arms or on my chest. I was looking for someone who was running. I've been saving my fat cake money up for a while, so I was saving my money up before I went to prison, so that when I did get up there, I already knew what I was doing when I was going to prison. I was getting tatted up and tatted up. That's it. I approached him, was like, hey, look, you know, what do you charge for a half sleeve? What do you charge for a full sleeve? For this, this, and that? You know, you tell them what you want. Just like at a tattoo shop out here, you tell them what you want. So I got a monkey doing a handstand on a grenade, and he's pulling the pen. Instead of it blowing up, it's coming out its ass. He's blowing it out its ass. I ended up paying, I think it was like $20 for this arm. And for the heartless on my chest, the words heartless on my chest, I think I paid $10 for that, because the barbed wire wasn't there, the stars was there, but it was just heartless. I paid like $10 for that. And then on this arm, honestly, I think I paid like another $20, so it was like 50. Honestly, it was like $50. Was on Dorm 5 for a while, and I didn't have any of this done. Because honestly, at first, I was going to stop at my elbows. I didn't want to go all the way down. I just felt like it wasn't as professional looking. You know, I wasn't sure exactly what route I wanted to take when I first got out of prison. I just knew that I wanted to do something. And in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I want to look as professional as I can, so I'm going to stop at my elbow so nothing's coming down. So I leave off Dorm 5, and they figure out who I am, what I am, and they send me up to the gang unit up on B2, which was a breeding ground for everything. Now you are up there with the best tattoo artists, you're up there with the best knife makers, you're up there with where things is hitting. Like, they moved me to where I belong to, you know what I'm saying? So I get up there, and Stephen Myers, let's see, who else ran on me? Alderson, Stephen Myers, GG, Shotgun, Chewy, and Cameron Moore. So I get up there, and I end up getting my arm hit. Brought the barbed wire down, Sin City, some buildings, some pyramids, my little dead guy. End up going down this arm, finishing off this arm, and finishing off my chest, where I got the dog paw, then I got Maryland, where I'm from, 301, Hagerstown. Got the barbed wire, brought that down. Still hadn't got this done yet. A couple years went by, and it was eating at me, because there's a lot of people up there that are really good runners, but once they find out that you are running tattoos, now the COs are going to be on you. Like, almost every month when they do shakedowns, they're going to look for soot, needles, broken CD players, anything and everything, and then they're going to hit you. Now, if you were to get a 5-point star, they can hit you off for being a blood, and they're going to add tag you for, gang hate. That's what they call it. If you have anything that's gang related, it's called gang hate in prison. So they're going to hit you off gang hate, 60 days. You know what I'm saying? If you have a 6-point star, Crips, or, GDs, gang hate, if you get obviously a swastika or, 3-leaf clover, 4-leaf clover, Nazi lowrider. Up there was a lot of the Odinists. They believe in Odinism. They worship Odin, and their thing was 88 on their legs and stuff. And then they had the runes and whatnot. After a while, the Nazi lowriders came around, and some other stuff ended up coming around. So if, there's a lot of dudes that had the swastikas on. Now, the funny part about that was, you end up meeting a lot of dudes in prison that have swastikas really, really big on them, like on their foreheads, on their heads, on their arms, on their chest, on their back. The problem is, a lot of these dudes would get this stuff in the regional for whatever reason, and then they get to prison, and the dudes that really are associated with Aryan Brotherhood, you better know why you put that swastika on your body, and you better uphold what it means, because if not, they're going to make you cut that off. It's funny because you see a lot of these dudes with this racist stuff on them, but they hang out with black dudes and Mexicans all day long. Now, as I said, I'm cool. I talk to everybody. I mess with everybody. I was actually, one of the first, the first dude that ever showed me mad respect was an Aryan Brotherhood dude. Slim from up in Mount Olive. This dude I've talked about him before in other videos. This dude had killed 3 dudes. He wasn't someone to play with. He was really up there in their ranking. The AB dudes, they was hitting on the weed, so you had to go through them. Like, if you wanted to smoke, you had to go through these dudes. They were hitting, I'm not saying that they were the only ones hitting, but they were hitting heavy. There was only a handful of these guys on the yard, but every single last one of these AB dudes was in prison for murder and had already killed someone in prison. So, a handful of these guys, everyone knew who they was. A lot of the COs, honestly, they were scared of them, so that's why they was messing with them. Plus, they had money, too, you know what I mean? And they were getting the boxy and hitting on K2 also at the time before they stopped it. You go in and you will not speak with anybody that's of a different race than you are. And if you do, it has to be sanctioned by both parties' leaders. I mean, business only, and if not, your own kind's gonna fuck you up. It's really, some prisons are a little bit more political than others. West Virginia, it's not so bad. It's not bad at the lower prison. Once you start getting up to, Huttonsville, it's not so bad, but Mount Olive, it's really a little bit more political, just because you got a lot of dudes up there that's, a lot of dudes at Mount Olive are serious guys. DMI is predominantly white, so, every yard I went to, I was damn near the only black dog except for Mike Corney. So, once I get up there to B2, I had Chulo, and he hit my chest. I ended up giving him, because after I got shipped back from Mount Olive is when I finally got this done. MD from where I'm from, H-Town. Got my spray bottle, spray painting into another one of my dead dudes. Got my diamond chick. Got some more dog paws. Got the Louis Vuitton symbol and Burton. I used to snowboard. I love snowboarding. I got Burton tattooed on me, and I love Louis Vuitton, so I figured I'd go ahead and get the things that I enjoy most, put it on my skin. A lot of racist dudes, a lot of different black organizations, a lot of different white organizations. But a lot of what people don't realize out here on the streets is, just because you wear red, or just because you wear blue, or black, or white, whatever it is, it's not about hate. If you were to do your history and go back in time to see what the roots were for Vice Lords, for Bloods, for the Crips, for GDs, for BDs, Gangster Disciples, DMI, like, everything's about growth, brotherhood, and bringing yourselves up from the slumps, getting out of the situations that you're in, because a lot of people didn't have the family, didn't have the loved ones, didn't have support. So it's like, it's a big family that are supposed to help each other, but now over time things have gotten watered down and the roots have been forgotten of why you even gave your life to something. And a lot of times people don't even know why. They just think it's cool wearing a red flag or a blue flag or whatever. Like, people don't be clashing in prison. Like, you got Bloods, Crips sitting at a table, and these are killers. Like, these dudes been killing people on the streets. They really about that, but they breaking bread. It's not about what color it is that you're wearing. It's about you as a whole, as a unit. Why would you want to belittle one of your own brothers? I don't know. So up there, it's a lot easier to get away with stuff. Because everyone, at the end of the day, you're a family. When you get on the behavioral dorm, you might be this, I might be that, but we're all here together. Now it's us against administration. I've seen a lot of Aryan dudes that have black kids. I'll let that sink in. I've seen a lot of Aryan dudes that have black children. Whatever floats your boat, for whatever reason it is, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not perfect. Do as you are. It is what it is. It's not going to affect my life. So, after you end up finding someone to run tattoos on you, you have to go into a cell. And now is where everything really starts getting complicated. So, at Huttonsville, if you enter someone's cell, that's enter another living quarters. You're going to the hole for like 15 days for that. Just doing that itself. Now if you get hit with tattoos, now that's 30 days for tattoos. So you got 15 for being in a cell and then another 30 for the tattoo. Now, if you were to get anything gang related, also, now that's AdSec. You're getting AdSec if you have anything gang related. Not only that, not only if it's tattoos, if you have drawings, if you're drawing in your cell and you have 5-point stars, if you have dog paws, if you have 6-point stars, if you have Crip, Blood, Sioux, Woo, anything written down on paper, they're writing you up for gang hate and you're gonna get AdSec for it. You can't have anything like that at all. Like, you're going to get hit. They do not like that. And a stick man, what a stick man is you pay somebody that sits outside the door or around you where you're getting tattooed. You pay someone to sit there and to watch for the COs. So if the COs were to come, a lot of the original heads up was the whoop whoop. The COs started getting hip to that, knew what was going on. So what they do is they tap on the chair or make a sound, something that is the code word for stop doing what you're doing because the CO is coming. Now you have to always be watching. You can't have a stick man that has ADD, because if you get hit, now the tattoo dude and the dude getting tattooed is going to fuck the stick dude up because they just got bopped. Watch the door. That's it. You get paid $30-$40 just to sit there and watch for the COs, not to do nothing. So once you have your stick man, The same way you would get ink in jail by the soot, you can do it in prison too. Get your Cracker Jack box, burn your ink, and I've seen a few prisons that actually got ink in, like colored ink or like Indian ink where it's real dark. But to be honest with you, I've had these tattoos for 10 years now, so the ink, it holds. I'm not gonna lie though. So I went over this elbow. Big mistake. Did not go over this elbow. Was not happening. Like, it fades. It gets real fadey. I mean, obviously, because you're always rubbing up against stuff, and just like with stuff on your hands, when you got stuff on your hands, stuff starts wearing down. I end up getting this stuff re-hit on the streets one time. It's $50 to go to a shop, practically just to open up the needles. A lot of dudes will get these weird dermal things. So not only have I seen a few people who, put tattoos on their dicks, sometimes people will get their eyes tattooed, like their eyelids. I've seen people get their eyelids tattooed. I've seen people actually tattoo their eyes, like the white part of their eye is now completely blacked out. So now you look like a crazy version of Marilyn Manson. I've seen dudes that put domino pieces. So they'll take domino pieces, break them up, and it's like, I don't know why they do it. I think they think it's cool and be like, oh, I've got this domino piece in my dick. Stick them underneath the skin of their dicks. You know what I'm saying? So now they got like weird ridges, and it's not like no Prince Albert or Prince Harry, whatever it is. I don't know which one it is. I mean, getting your wee-wee sleeved out in tattoos is one thing, but cutting your skin open and sticking Lego pieces and domino pieces, and people will do some weird stuff. The only way I'd ever get tattoos on my face is if I was a multi-millionaire, and probably not even then. I think it'd be cool. I got a couple buddies that got tattoos on their heads, like their whole hairline is a tattoo, so it looks like hair, but it's a tattoo. I always thought that was pretty cool, but I would never get anything on my face. Plus my mom, my mama's boy, I'm not gonna lie, she would probably cut me out the will. You don't want to make mom mad and get tattoos on your face. If you join something, don't be a set hopper. And what that is, it's somebody that goes and joins something because they might be getting money here, but then they go over here and now they're not getting money. So then they switch and jump to something totally different. If someone were to come up to you and ask you, what's that mean? Okay, if you don't have the knowledge or the answer, you're going to get fucked up. That's a target. You are now a walking target. Of course, I got my dog pole over my heart because, my love to DMI is unfathomable. The love that I have for my brothers, for my unit, and my comrades is above anything else. They think it's cool because they're around cool dudes, and then they find out that these cool dudes ain't cool dudes, and now you getting this tattoo cut off. You don't want to be that guy who gets their tattoo cut off, or they're making you cover that thing up within the next 48 hours. So I hope that you have enough money to go to the tattoo dude within the next week and get it covered up, because if not, it's getting cut off. Make sure you clean your needle, because if you leave your old blood on there, and if it dries up and you stick it back in your body, then now you'll catch Hep C. What? Yeah, bro, didn't you know? Even if you don't have Hep C and your blood dries up and you put it back in you, you're going to get Hep C. Duh. Everyone knows that. I really support, I feel like fun to felon should be a thing, especially when you got dudes that's locked up that really have talent, And I'll send Chewy a couple pictures offline, but look, I'll give you $40, $50 if you could draw me this picture, and have him tweak a couple things, just so, and he'll send it in, and he'll send me back stuff like, I got my DMI dude, little ghost dude. I like getting stuff where it's funny. You're like, what in the world? Got a gas mask dude. This is actually one I just got on my leg. I just went to the shop and got this put on my leg that I had Chewy drawn up. And my other little pyramid DMI dude work, put on me, even though it's not by his hand tattooing, it's still by his hand by drawing, just because, I believe that you can never forget where you came from. Even if it was a negative situation, you can't forget who you are as a person or what you came from, because that, you can't switch up. You always got to be the person that you are. Cameron Moore, as I said before, he laid this all down for me from here down for free before I ended up getting out of prison, and I said, this is honestly probably the best sleeve that I personally have. I like it the most. And he's out doing good now, still running. There's a lot of dudes in prison that can really draw. Kareem Robinson, I never got any tattoos from him, but I had him draw, my little DMI diamond chick up, the MD H-Town from Maryland, my dead dude, and I want to say the dog paw on my chest. I had him draw it up because he was really good at like urban style drawing, like city scene style drawing. He's really good with that stuff. So I ended up paying him to draw some stuff up for me. And it's actually, honestly, it's cheaper getting these dudes in prison to draw it up. Even though it's cheaper for you, it helps them out a lot, and it gets their name out there. Just because they're in prison doesn't mean that people can't now call on them to try to get stuff drawn up just because they're nice with it. Once you get in a cell, in most cells, it's either 2-man or 1-man cell. Thankfully, with me being classified as a 5, I was a single cell my whole stay through prison, so I didn't have to bunk with anybody. It was me, myself. But most of the tattoo dudes, they was in double cells. So you'd have your stick man, since you can't be in someone else's cell, you'd have the door closed, and you have a stick man sitting right out front. If the CO comes in the bubble, the stick man would have a fingernail clipper and just tap the door. Ding, ding. Now you know someone's coming. You have to hide. So there's only so many places you can hide. So you'd either hide under the bunk, behind the wall where it's a little recessed, or right at the door while it's closed. So if the CO looks in, he sees it, an empty cell. It's where you have to wait for hours underneath a bunk. Now mind you, this is someone else's cell. This is not your cell. So you're laying underneath someone's bunk for hours on end. You see dust bunnies, you see dingleberries hanging there because they dirt balls. You've got old food back there. You better hope there's no mice. Those are the times that you regret even getting tattooed, because now you're laying on a cold concrete floor underneath someone's bunk with their dingleberries, cold. Most likely your shirt's off because you've been getting ran on. Now you've got dirty dingleberry particles on your fresh tattoo. So how you would put the stencil on is you get somebody to draw up whatever picture it is, and you get it in ink. You get them to do it in ink. Then you take deodorant, rub deodorant on whatever part of your body that you're getting tattooed all over. And it's got to be the clear gel deodorant too. After you rub it all over your skin, you take your stencil, whatever you're getting tattooed on you, you take your stencil and then stick it on there, and then press with a wet washcloth. Put a lot of pressure on it, all the way down. Pressure, 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 all the way down. So when you peel it off, the stencil's there on your arm. Sometimes it can get a little wonky, and that stuff's on you for life. I know some people have some tattoos they regret getting, and now it's stuck on you where everyone can see it. To get the shading right, you really have to know what you're doing. Like, you got to be nice with a gun, because for shading, the only thing you do different is make the ink a little bit lighter. So how you do that is you just add a little bit more water or a little bit more shampoo to stretch it out a little bit more so it's not as dark, and then you go from there. Now, some of these dudes are beasts, but a lot of the problem that you have with getting tattoos in prison is over time it kind of starts to bleed out. You ever seen, you know, an older individual where you look at their arm and instead of seeing any detail, it's just practically all black, where it looks like all the ink just merged together, so they just have this big black arm? This is cracker soot and hair grease in your arm. You know, this isn't shop quality stuff. I go in Gigi's cell and I keep hearing this chirp chirp, chirp chirp. So he's over there getting the battery pack ready for the tattoo gun, and I look at him like, dog, what is that sound? I got a bird. You got a what? This man had took the baby bird up to his cell, and he'd had it for a couple days, right? I found this out. He'd had it for a couple days and was feeding it some weird random stuff. Like, he'd go out, try to find worms and stuff. If not, he'd try to bring up stuff from the chow hall and try to get it milk and stuff. When I tell you that when the COs end up running in on him, right, he got hit for his tattoo stuff because he came out with soot all over his clothes. So that's another thing they can tell if you're running ink. This black soot gets everywhere and it sticks. So if you got black soot on your khaki pants, they know you're running. So he ended up going to the chow hall. He had soot on his hands, on his shirt and pants. He didn't wash off. He was dirtball. Getting hit with a bird in prison is one of those weird things that the COs, they can't really comprehend, because it's like, how did you get this in here and why do you have this in here? But as always, if you've already done it, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. But if you haven't, why haven't you already done it? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's real easy. I'll help you out. Look, hit that subscribe button, then go next door, hit the notifications button so you're first informed when I upload. So, as before and as always, keep your heads up. I send mine most love, loyalty, and respect. Have a nice day.